Mississippi app and your local SuperTalk Mississippi radio station. But you can watch us too. We are on your computer, your mobile device. Just head on over to SuperTalk TV. You'll see I'm joined by Whit Lewis. He is the Senior Director of Community Partnerships for the Palmer Home for Children. And we are fast approaching our 13th annual Radiothon that's happening July the 10th. So we thought it'd be a good time to check in. But also, talking about graduations, I bet right now it's an exciting time there at Palmer Home. So welcome, Mr. Lewis. And what are things like on campus as school comes to an end?
Basically the same way that it is in everyone else's family, with awards days and end of the year parties and end of the year activities. And we have a few that are graduating this year. And so trying to get all of that stuff taken care of. And so it is hectic, fun, exciting, but it's a sweet time as well.
We take for granted there may be somebody listening to Good Things who hasn't heard of Palmer Home for Children. After 13 years of dedicating to the Radiothon and talking about the good things you do, you hope everybody knows, right? But chances are somebody's new and maybe hearing it for the first time. So how do you describe Palmer Home for Children to folks when they come across you guys for the first time?
So I define it in several different ways, but really it's a home. Everyone deserves a home. Everyone deserves a family. And so we are a restorative environment, children's home for children in need and that find themselves in vulnerable situations. And we want to provide a home, a roof over their head, a place of hope and healing, peace and protection. We have parents or house parents and adults that are there to help support, to encourage, to oversee, and help give our young people and these young people, whether it's for a short term or for a long term, a path forward and a future to look forward to.
It truly takes a village to do that, Mr. Lewis. And you guys there, obviously, with boots on the ground, see the kids every day, but also connecting to community partners, which is what your specialty is. How does Palmer Home sort of reach into the community, or I guess the community reach back into Palmer Home to help make sure that these kids are well taken care of and have everything they need to thrive, even though maybe their start in life wasn't the smoothest, let's put it that way?
Sure, and you mentioned it just a second ago is the village aspect. We're a fully funded nonprofit, meaning that we raise all of our own support, and so having people come alongside of us that recognizes what we're doing, that we're instilling again a life of hope and healing in the lives of children, and there's meaning in our communities that realize that, hey, they may not can do it on the scale in which we do, but they want to come alongside and to be a partner. And to think about my life and your life as well is that we're all the sum of those that have invested into us. I came on just a few minutes ago and I heard y'all talking about schools and teachers and limericks and haikus and all of that stuff. But, it's those things that sometimes we know someone directly involved in our lives, or sometimes someone indirectly or a little bit removed, but they still have a very vital portion and a vital part of who we are today. So those communities, whether they're businesses, whether they're churches, whether they're civic groups or school groups or whatever, that they have a small part of being involved in the life of someone that they may know directly or someone that they may never know on this side of heaven, but can help provide for that child or for that sibling group or that young adult that's looking toward independence.
Mr. Lewis, that's one of the beauties of the Radiothon, where we set aside one day each year here at SuperTalk for last 12, going on now 13 years, and sharing the stories and getting Mississippi just to better understand all the good things that go on at Palmer Home and how they help children. And sometimes when you hear the stories, right, especially if you come from such a good background, or maybe, you're raising children in a really loving way, your heart breaks and you think, gosh, how can I help? How can I be of service? And, it may not be your calling to be there on campus or to be a house parent or, that way, but just getting involved even when it's a small donation or better understanding some of the fundraising events that happen throughout the state each year that goes directly to the work. That's how you get to be a piece of the puzzle and be part of the village for that.
Absolutely. And I love, for all of our fundraising efforts, Radiothon is my favorite. And mainly because oftentimes in being community involvement and even our other fundraisers that we do, we're telling stories, right? We're sort of third party, but in Radiothon, you're hearing the stories. You're hearing directly from house parents that are on the front line day in and day out. You're hearing from sometimes we have some of our transition students, and you're hearing from them and hearing their personal stories. And so those are transformational. Those catch, those really just sort of dig deep and really begin feeling like they're a part of what is going on in the ministry. So I love Radiothon. I love that, just like you mentioned a few moments ago, we always say time, talents, or treasures. Everyone has time, talents, or treasures that can come alongside and to be a part of the path forward for a life of a young person. So I'm excited about it, looking forward to it, always have fun with it.
Yeah, and you talk about the stories. That's so important because, I mean, all of us, our stories continue to be written until it's no longer a story to be told, right? And stories can take so many different turns. And you think about these young people that we get the opportunity to learn about or hear the first half of their story is usually not a good one by the time they make it to Palmer Home. But being a part of it or just learning all the good work that you guys have been doing over 100 years. I know you've been there, Mr. Lewis, for over 100 years, right? No.
130 years. 130
130,
years.
yeah,
1895. Yes.
that's so that's incredible. That's a long-standing time of helping to rewrite kids' stories for the positive, and being a part of that is always super exciting. But I know y'all are transitioning into the summer season, right? So what will it look like? I know we'll be there in July when it's good, cool, and breezy outside. That's a
That's a good
joke.
thing for the pool and the lake, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what does campus look like over the summer there, Mr. Lewis?
So they do, just like, again, I try to explain to as many people, we try to make it look, and oftentimes it looks just like it does in your home. There, our young people, due to our wellness center, and praise the Lord for our wellness centers where we host our Radiothon, we have a big pool, right? And think about, you mentioned growing up in Terry. I grew up in Kosciuszko, and but just how many memories that we made around a pool, swimming with our friends. Seeing who can do the biggest, cannonball, or who can make the smallest splash with a pencil. I think about my kids that are doing that in our neighborhood pool. And so, man, the pool will be one that is being used. Many of our young people are going to church camp. They're involved in different churches. They're going to church camp. Many will be getting ready for sports for the next year. As you know, man, we're 365 sports around here, and so many will be spending their time in sports camps and things along those lines. Some will be trying to sleep in late, but house parents will have them up. Many will be working. And so there's all sorts of different activities. And then sprinkled in there, we'll also do a leadership camp at Mississippi State University for some of our young people, really thinking about, a future outside of Palmer Home as well. And so it's just like everyone else's family, super busy. And if you're like my family, you're trying to keep them busy. And in a
Absolutely.
routine, and I'm always look forward to school getting started back for mine, for sure.
Absolutely. Summer's a nice break, but then you're like, give me a little bit of a structure. But you mentioned Mr. Lewis talking about church camp, and that reminded me that, one of the beauties of Palmer Home is you guys don't take any government money. And the main reason is that way you guys have a little bit more flexibility in how you choose to instill values of faith into your kids. And that's just something that's been important for the last 130 years. So why is that still such a priority for you guys there at Palmer Home to look to stay ungovernment funded, privately funded, so you can continue to sort of rear these children up in a way of faith?
Well, it goes back to, and we mentioned just a few moments ago, 130 years ago, 1895, post-Civil War, all this happening there, and just thousands upon thousands of literal orphans in Mississippi. And a coalition of churches in Columbus, Mississippi, saw a need, answering the James 127 that talked about a pure religion is that essentially cares for the vulnerable. Specifically in James 127 talks about the widows and the orphans and those who's going to speak up for them, who's going to care for them. And so those churches got together, started what originally known as Palmer Orphanage, now known as Palmer Home. And it started with just a simple dream of caring for children in need. And that's the same mission that we have today, being a Christ-like restorative environment. And so we want to control that narrative. And if you get too many hands in the pot, so to speak, people are trying to control the narrative, we want to be the ones that's sticking to what our foundation has always been, pointing to a hope that is bigger than each one of us. And I'm grateful for our leadership that sticks to that realizes the value, again, of a biblical basis and a life of faith, and growing our young people and pointing them to a home of faith and love and hope in Jesus Christ.
The other cool thing about the Radiothon, Mr. Lewis, is my buddy Rhino, producer here on Good Things and Middays, will get his one haircut a year if the money comes rolling in. So I don't know if you've stuck around and watched that haircut happen a time or two, but we get pretty excited about it. So we've only got, a few more short months or weeks for Rhino to grow out his hair for you guys to pay to get it cut. So it's always a good time.
Absolutely. He's putting some Miracle Grow on it, I know now. We're looking forward to Thursday, July the 10th, for him to get it shaved off.
Absolutely, Mr. Lewis. I appreciate your time. We'll see you soon, okay? Tell everybody we said hi.
Thank you, guys. I certainly will. Thank you. God bless.
All righty, you guys stick with us. We've got more Good Things.